Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Music Biz Common Ground webinar series. I'm Nicole Hennessy, Vice President of Music Biz. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today for this presentation. But before we get into it, I just wanted to do a couple announcements in case you guys have not seen it. Nylon Connect, that's our global music summit in partnership with Music Ally in the UK, is coming back virtually in January 18th through the 21st, 2022. Nylonconnect.com is the website to learn about the program. We just announced 3 keynote speakers earlier this week, and registration is open. So go ahead and check that out. It's a great conference drawing folks from all around the globe with some interesting presentations on different segments of the business, as well as different areas of the universe. So great event. Also, Music Biz 2022. Fingers crossed, we will see you all face to face in Nashville, May 9th through the 12th. Registration for that is open as well. And so is our call for presentations. That is your time to be able to submit a fleshed out panel or presentation idea for consideration on the program. And that's really exciting. I love going through those to see what the industry wants to talk about, what our professionals in the industry want to present. I really enjoy the review of those. And you can find that call for presentations at musicbiz2022.com, or just go to the Music Biz website, musicbiz.org, and under events, there's a drop down for Music Biz 2022. But this presentation here today by Andrea and Mike came out of the call for presentations for Music Biz 2019, of course, or for Music Biz 2020 back in 2019. But of course, 2020 and 2021 did not happen. So we actually stayed in contact with Andrea and Mike, and here they are on the webinar series presenting one of those submissions for the call for presentations that should have been face-to-face, but here we are virtually. I'm glad to have you both, Andrea and Mike. I did take a sneak peek at some of the stuff in the deck, and it looks awesome. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to turn it over to you. So go ahead, bring your cameras up, your mics up, and you can take it from here.
Hi, everybody.
There they are. And if you guys want to communicate with Andrea and Mike, I see a lot of people chatting it up in the chat, but if you have specific questions about the presentation as we're going through, there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. That's where you can put questions about the presentation that you would like Andrea and Mike to answer at the end. So with that, I'm going to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, and
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you, Aaron, for helping us to get set up before as well. I'll kick it off, and then I'll hand it over to Andrea as well, just following the notes that we've got here on the screen. So I wanted to welcome everybody to Playlists and Beyond. As the name suggests, we're going beyond playlists. We're going to be looking at various marketing ideas and tools that we've discovered and we've seen put to good use, particularly in the last year. And we're going to be attempting to do this in a very short amount of time. Quick introduction. I'm Mike Warner. My pronouns are he, him. I'm the Director of Artist Label and DSP Relations at Chartmetric. And I'm also the author of the book, Work Hard, Playlist Hard. Andrea?
I'm Andrea Young. I'm an entrepreneur. I founded DPG in 2016 when, as a radio show host and curator, I saw the power of being able to play any tune, anytime, and the effect it could have on artists and their potential to get their music heard. And since then, our team has supported over 300 artists and their teams in finding ways to get their music heard on the digital platforms in as many ways as possible. So since we're talking about the playlisting space, to start, we're defining the different types of playlists. There are at least 4. Each platform focuses on these to varying degrees. Editorial or company playlists are curated by staff on the platform. Spotify, for example, has thousands of these. Algorithmic playlists are also generated through each platform, but they're based on proprietary formulas on the platform. Pandora Radio is a form of an algorithmic playlist. Algotorial playlists are a combination of editorial and algorithmic. YouTube Notes, for example, they rely on algotorial playlists. And user-generated playlists, also called third-party playlists, independent playlists, listener playlists. These are created by independent curators, brands, and fans. Starbucks has a bunch of these, as does Pepsi. There are thousands of independent playlisters like Double J, Derek Feicher, Indie Mono. Next. So to talk about the playlisting marketplace, just to say, I think we all know music discovery is messy and fragmented and constantly evolving right now, right? I mean, some of the things that we're going to show you today have just come into being in the last couple of hours almost. Playlists are one avenue for music discovery. The playlisting marketplace may not be what you think it is, though. It still amazes me that I still get calls from teams saying they want what they want us to do, or they want to pay us to get them on editorial playlists. No, we can't do that. It's more about optimizing your profiles, salting the algorithms, getting feedback and exposure from the independents that you might not be getting from the platforms, opening up new markets for your music. It's about building your presence, as I think we all know. Next slide. As far as transparency in the process, editorial curators don't give us a lot of transparency. I think I can safely say as a curator, probably there's many ways to go about curating a playlist as there are curators. One quote I reference is from a curator who noted, an editorial curator, they don't look to build playlists around a song, they look for songs that are fit for their playlists. Algorithmic and algotorial playlists are similar, but a bit more transparent and democratic. If you can find a way to build a bit of a buzz for your music, legitimately, the algorithms can find you more easily. Lots of tools and ways to go about this. We'll be going through some of those. And then user-generated playlists are the messiest part of the marketplace, and at the moment, a vibrant, what I would call bedroom community of fans, like Mike and myself, who want to share their love of certain music to the rest of the world. So they're a great place to get feedback and exposure, especially since not every artist or even their tracks get on company playlists. There have been a lot of bad actors out there, so do your homework, choose to work with a reputable company. So the other thing to say is that I think both of our approach is a targeted, layered approach of simply helping make your music available and monetized everywhere possible for the greatest chance of discovery and revenue. We can't always forecast where it's going to happen. It's usually from marketing strategies, multiple marketing strategies, and on multiple platforms. Lil Nas X's campaign, I read recently, used a combination of 17 YouTube videos, 70 Instagram posts, countless time interacting on Twitter. That's an example of a targeted layered approach. It's up to you to figure out where you can get traction for your music, where your opening is, and then methodically work to get that traction. The Swiss cheese model is just what it sounds like. It's typically used in disaster preparation, and I got the targeted layered approach and the Swiss cheese model. They both come from Mike Lewis's book, Michael Lewis, The Premonition, which was a book about vaccines in the pandemic. But it's just this idea in marketing that there are holes in your marketing that you can plug with multifaceted attention to different platforms. If you have enough pieces of cheese, like we have in this photo here, then all of the holes are covered. And then finally, most of the time, a majority of the time, it is a marathon, not a sprint. So in this webinar, we're going to now go through some of the streaming platforms with best practices and tips and info on their playlist offerings. Take it away, Mike.
Thank you, Andrea. And we are going in alphabetical order, I should mention, so as to not favor any particular DSP. So let's get it started with Amazon Music. So Amazon Music for Artists launched in early 2020. It can be found at artists.amazon.com. Some unique features that they have include showing you voice requests. So how many people are requesting using their voice with their Alexa enabled device, requesting an artist by their name, an album, or they could even speak or sing the lyrics to part of a song to actually get a response as well. Fans can also follow their favorite artists with their voice. But there's some recently added features that I wanted to dive into that people may not yet be aware of with Amazon.
And to start, first of all, though, to say that Amazon Music says that there are 4 ways that you can, your music can be heard on their platform. There are Amazon Music stations, there are Amazon Music playlists, the streams from a user's library or from any user-generated playlist, and their browse and search function. And I know, Mike, now you're going to talk about some of the new things.
Editorial pitching. For anyone that follows me on social media, you would know how excited I was when this was finally announced. I say finally because I've been waiting for this for so long. So yesterday, Amazon launched editorial pitching within the Amazon Music for Artists app on your phone or by going to artists.amazon.com. What this means is that you can pitch future releases within the app, as well as songs that were released within the last 14 days. This is a really good opportunity for anyone that's used forms from other products such as Spotify for Artists. What I found unique about this pitching form in Amazon is that they're not just saying that this could lead to a playlist placement if your pitch is accepted. They're saying that it could appear in other places throughout Amazon Music, which could mean radio programming and other things as well. So the actual form, when you get in and submit it, for anyone that doesn't have a future release and can't see it right now, there's a number of options. You can choose the genre, you can tag the mood, you can tag the location of where the song was recorded or where the music may resonate with the audience the best, where the artist is currently most popular, which was interesting. And you can actually tag additional artists that sound similar to this track. So you can plug a lot of information into this release so that even if it doesn't get you a playlist placement, it may help your music to be heard in other places within Amazon Music. So I would definitely recommend everyone checking this out, especially because it's new and fresh. When things like this launched on other got tongue-tied there. When things like this have launched previously with other products, such as Spotify for Artists, a lot of people took time to adopt it. So if you have a release coming up, I encourage you to download the latest version of the app or go to the website, fill out this form and just see what happens. It's only going to take a few minutes of your time and feed that algorithm.
By the way, I also noticed when I looked at that pitch tool yesterday that it gives you 1,000-character description, which is a hefty amount of description, which is great. Also to mention, we're going to answer questions at the end. We've put some time aside at the end for questions, so please do put your questions up and we will be on those. Okay, one thing that we look at on Amazon Music for Artists is the fans and superfans metrics. So here's an example. Amazon defines fans as listeners who have actively returned back to your music, added you to their library and playlist, followed you, or purchased physical product. Superfans are a further subset of fans, on average driving almost a third of your stream. So this artist has 30,000 fans, 5,000 superfans. Asking fans to follow you and play your music and add it to their own playlist is your way to cultivate them on this platform. You can create user playlists as well as share on socials. And then next slide, we also look at the metric called Daily Voice Index. Mike mentioned this a little, but it just helps evaluate fan engagement on Alexa compared to similar sized artists. And Amazon says they hope that that'll help you measure the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns and give more reason to include Alexa in your promotion. So they calculate it based on the requests to play an artist's music, including requests by name, track, album, lyrics. It's updated daily, so you can test this out yourself. See if by promoting on your socials over some extended period of time, you can get the index to go up. We also recommend you check to see if Alexa recognizes your artist name, and if not, see if you can find the exact phrase that will get Alexa to bring up your music, or get with your distributor or label for troubleshooting.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that, Andrea. Amazon just recently launched a voice-only plan where the only way that you can request music from Amazon Music is using your voice in an Alexa-enabled device, such as an Amazon Echo speaker or an Echo Show in your house. It's a cheaper offering, and the only way that people would be able to request your song or your album is if they know how to pronounce it correctly. So this is extremely important. And I know that you mentioned before, speaking with your distributor is the best way to make sure that the correct pronunciation is delivered, the same way that the artwork is delivered, the same way that the lyrics are delivered. It's extremely important, and it's going to become more important. I wanted to touch on the Twitch integration as well. So the way that this works is if you go live on Twitch and you've connected your Twitch channel to your Amazon Music artist profile, the live stream will appear both on Twitch and within Amazon Music. So if people go to your artist profile on Amazon Music while you're live, they'll be able to watch that live stream directly within the app. So people could be following you on one or the other, and it's just another way that you can reach them. And people that follow you in Amazon Music will get notifications when you go live as well. And from time to time, Amazon do feature these live streams on the homepage within the Amazon Music app. So definitely worth setting that up. It's just a simple number of clicks within the Amazon Music for Artists app, and you'll be able to do that. Just look for the live tab. Another thing that you can do in your Twitch streams is that you can also sell merch. So Amazon.com, the store itself, actually has an artist merch store within that. And any artist can request to add their merch to this store. In addition, that merch can also be displayed on the artist profile within Amazon Music, and they can also link to that and share it if they're perhaps wearing it on their live stream on Twitch as well. So to do this, you would firstly need to request an invitation to Merch by Amazon, which is merch.amazon.com. Anyone can do this. To give you an idea, shameless plug, I did this and made a t-shirt just to test it out for Work Hard, Playlist Hard. Once you've done that, you simply need to let the Amazon Music for Artists team know that, hey, I'm an artist, I have merch, here's the links. Would you be able to link this to my profile and consider it for the artist merch store? And obviously there's a long email address and a few other links. We do have a summary with all of the links from this presentation, which we will share at the end. And I believe an email will be going out as well with those links.
All right, next up, we've got Anghami. We're working through this, Mike. We're still in the A's. It's based in the Middle East, North Africa world, which only distributes Arabic and international content, but any artist content can be made available on its platform. Anghami has over 73 million users to date. Next slide, you can log into your account through artist.anghami.com. Sorry, I meant to say that there are 5 tips to increase your streams on Anghami. Sorry, Mike. They published an article a few days ago on 5 tips to increase your streams, which includes platform ads, a live radio function where you can directly interact with fans to listen to your music together, which I think is sort of interesting, push notifications to followers, and a way to directly pitch your songs for curation on their playlists.
Yes, and just to add on that, this is what it looks like when you log into your Anghami for Artists app. And I know that I said it differently to the way that you said it. Blame the accent, my apologies. But yes, log into the app and you will see an option for content promotion and the option to pitch to playlists. What's unique about this process compared to Amazon or Spotify or the others is they ask you to specify which playlist you think the song would be best suited to, in addition to all of the other details that you provide. And they're very interested to know other things such as nationality, genre, mood, and style as well, of course. Now we're up to Apple Music, Andrea.
Yes, next up I'm going to start talking about Apple Music. Next slide. Apple Music allows you to customize your artist image. It also shows analytics on playlist plays and listener counts, Shazam data, iTunes downloads. It's available on both iOS and desktop. Next slide. We look at Apple Music for Artists, particularly to see if there are Shazams or milestones that show activity beyond what we are seeing on other streaming platforms. If we see similar or higher stream totals, we know to focus a bit more on this platform for artists. So you can see with the red arrow, it says you passed 1 million all-time plays. That's a milestone that this artist passed recently.
And speaking of Apple Music and milestones, what you're looking at on the screen here, these are actually called Apple Music milestones. That was a really terrible segue. So these are shareable images in which you can celebrate a number of milestones for the artist. This could include editorial playlist ads. For example, the artist was added to New Music Daily. It could be a number of Shazam counts, for example, 10,000 Shazams in one day, or it could be streaming number milestones, 1 million streams, first 10,000 streams, etc. Next slide, and I'm in control. So any administrator or analytics user of an Apple Music for Artists account can share these, and you can share them directly to Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram stories directly within the Apple Music for Artists iOS app at this time is the only way that I've been able to do this. But you'll see that it's just a matter of clicks or taps, if you will, and you can share that directly. What's great about this is that they've created an image for you, ready to share on socials. They've created the text for you, which is already copied to the clipboard. And in most cases, you can tap the button and post it directly to, as mentioned, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram stories. Now with Twitter, these are Twitter audio cards, which you can find these not within the Apple Music for Artists app at this time, but Apple Music has a separate website called Apple Music Marketing Tools. And there will be a link to this at the end, of course, because it is a long URL. But the way that this works is you'll have a 30-second audio preview of your song that people will be able to press play and listen to within Twitter without leaving the app. If they want to continue listening, they can tap and it will launch the song in Apple Music and play it in its entirety. One thing that I find interesting about this, for anyone that is an Apple affiliate, and it is free to do so, and they do actually encourage this, you can include your affiliate token in these links. And what can happen is if somebody taps that link, not only do they listen to your song, which is great, but you could earn a commission on that. Or sometimes Apple Music will provide a bounty. And I've seen people earn sometimes between $1 to $5 because somebody tapped that link, paid for an Apple Music subscription and listened to that artist's song. So yes, you get paid for the stream, but why not make a little extra for sharing the same link? And you can do that. We'll put that in the links at the end, and anyone can sign up to be an Apple affiliate.
Okay, moving on to spatial audio, and I see that there's a question about that as well. There are two competing formats for spatial audio, Dolby Atmos and 360 Reality Audio from Sony. Apple supports and promotes tracks in Dolby Atmos. Recording in Dolby Atmos may get your tracks more coverage because the format is being pushed at the moment and there are obviously marketing dollars behind it. You know, there's a question as a creative, how do I help my independent artists optimize my Dolby Atmos mixes to be listed? I think that's the answer to that is sort of like the answer to everything else. It's like, let your distributor know way ahead, far in advance, give them notice, go through them, shout out on your socials, and just find every way you can to let everyone know that you've got a Dolby Atmos track. It takes extra time and effort to produce an album in Dolby Atmos. Amazon just announced last week they're supporting both formats, by the way, and the formats have been available on Tidal and other platforms as well. On to Boomplay.
Boomplay. So Boomplay has around 75 million subscribers currently. Originally based out of Africa, but now available in other continents and countries as well. I almost called Africa a country. It's definitely a continent. But what I like about Boomplay is that it's not only a streaming platform, it has a fully integrated social platform as well. So when you create an account, you log in, you listen to music, you can actually leave comments on artist profiles, songs, albums, playlists, and posts. And what's really cool is other people can respond to those. So fans can have conversations with each other in the comments, and artists can respond directly to their fans as well. And you can also get, of course, up-to-date analytics of your content across various countries and regions as well. You can update your bio and your profile picture, and they'll give you that opportunity to engage with your fan base and have conversations with them in the comments, but also post images and songs in more of a social feed. On to Deezer.
All right. Next slide for Deezer. They were previously known as Deezer Backstage, but now known as Deezer for Creators. You can get a hold of them at creators.deezer.com. They offer analytics, promotional tools, and charts, including a status update. It's a feature that allows you to set a catchphrase of up to 64 characters. You can add Facebook and Twitter links on your profile, along with an image and a biography. You get access to ad-supported and paid subscriber data. You can highlight a feature, an album, a podcast, a playlist, verify through your Facebook page for quicker access. Otherwise, it can take 4 to 6 weeks to claim your profile. Next page. Deezer, or next slide. Deezer has editorial, algorithmic, and user-generated playlists. Editorial playlists are curated globally and locally. Each country gets its own local editor in charge of promoting the releases for their designated country. And there's this continent versus country thing going on here, because there is a music editor for Africa, even if it is a continent. So it might be a good way to get started on Deezer with these more locally and regionally produced playlists. Also, as an artist or label, you can create your own playlist through your own account. Artist playlists are featured on the artist page. And then they just recently, I think a couple of weeks ago, introduced something called Flow Moods. It's a new emotional jukebox that matches your music to your mood, further showing how important metadata and keywords are going to be in your releases in the coming years. Next up is Geo7.
Awesome. Now my attempt, Geo7. So Geo7 has over 160 million subscribers and is one of the most popular streaming services in India. I say one of, to be fair, there are a significant number of streaming services in India, but for the sake of the tools that we'll be talking about today, we'll be focusing on Geo7. Geo7 for artists is known as Artist One, and you can sign up at artists.geo7.com. One of the really unique tools that I found on here is you can create Geo7 shorties. These are visual loops up to 15 seconds long. They may be similar or feel similar to Spotify Canvas, and some artists will go as far as using the same visual loop for both platforms as well, which, as far as I know, is totally fine. Geo7 also let you build and feature two types of artist playlists. What's cool about this is that they will create the artwork for you. They will handle the description. They will also showcase these at the top of the artist page for you. So the way that this works is you will create two private playlists in your Geo7 account, and we can get into how to get access and things like that later. But once you're in, you have private playlists, you drag in all the songs you would like, then you go into Geo7 for artists and you link those. And then now you're working on the public versions that everyone will see. So the first one is Artist Hits. This playlist is completely original music from that artist. So a catalog playlist, a discography playlist, if you will, greatest hits even. The other one is called Made By, which is actually songs, it should really be called Curated By, but it's songs that the artist loves and have picked themselves and they would like to showcase in a playlist. So I've seen artists do this where they will showcase similar artists that maybe they look up to, maybe they've collaborated with, maybe they just want to share music because it's great music as well. So as mentioned, the playlist cover art and title will be created for you automatically. This is why it's important to upload images into the Geo7 for Artists app. So you've given them permission to use those images and do that for you. And this is just showing you what it looks like with both playlists featured at the top of the artist page in Geo7 as well. And I should mention that you will work from the private playlists where you will log in to geo7.com as a listener, and they will automatically refresh the public versions for everyone every 24 hours. Andrea, we're up to P.
Pandora, next slide. 60 million monthly users is the last number I heard. And on the next slide, we're going to talk about the artist marketing platform. That's their free artist-friendly marketing tools known as AMP. You can access it on amp.pandora.com. Lots of tools here. Starting out with artist messages that play before or after tracks. This is about promoting a show with an artist audio message, which you can do through, if your show is up on Songkick Tourbox, Ticketmaster, Eventbrite, you can geo-target specific cities. And by the way, also note that Pandora has separate artist profiles for holiday music. So you'll sign up for two Pandora AMP accounts if you have holiday music. And holiday music, Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever it is, has a strong listening audience all year round, according to the Pandora curators. Okay, so it's a process it's a little tricky to sign up to utilize Pandora AMP, but once you get in there, it's really easy to use. There are 4 steps for sign up. First, you have to confirm your music is on Pandora. And if not, check to find out if it was sent to Pandora by your distributor. This is becoming more automatic, but in past years, it had to be requested. So you might check on that. And then the next slide, once your music is on Pandora, you then want to get it on Pandora Radio. This is the red arrow on the left. If that little icon is grayed out, you're not yet on Pandora Radio. According to Pandora, this is where a majority of listening occurs. If the radio icon is grayed out, then you just need to submit your track to Pandora's team to be considered for Pandora Radio inclusion. They're readily available to help with that. Next slide. Once your music is live on Pandora Radio, then you can sign up to use their Pandora AMP program. You need a Pandora user account to sign up for Pandora AMP, and you can't sign up outside the country for a user account, but again, their team are available to assist when you're outside the country in order to sign up for their free marketing tools.
Awesome. And I do just want to mention that people may have seen the news that nextbigsound.com is shutting down before the end of the year. I have to give a shout out. I feel like they are the originators of this and one of the first places that I really had an opportunity to geek out on music. And the good news is that Next Big Sound isn't just disappearing. Instead, they're moving the data into Pandora's artist marketing platform. So people like us don't have to have two separate tabs open in their web browser. But as a result, a number of extra features have been brought into Pandora's artist marketing platform. One of the most recent that they added is, I will be getting to that shortly, but I wanted to highlight featured tracks first. So what's cool about this is that you can feature up to 6 tracks per year, up to 8 weeks per track. And what happens is this track will be put in front of a larger audience across Pandora's radio stations. And they will be looking for feedback in the forms of a thumbs up, or if people listen to the song in its entirety and things like that. What can happen from this is that it can lead to further programming within Pandora, maybe some editorial features as well. But at the very least, you're going to get some extra spins out of this, and it's completely free. And Pandora provide it directly within their artist marketing platform. One unique thing about this that I have not seen any other DSP offer before is you can do a featured track for any song that was released within the last 12 months or the last year, as long as it has had at least 10 spins. So to give you an idea, Andrea mentioned holiday music before. There's someone that may have released a song last year around a specific holiday, and this time around, before the song is 1 year old, they will go and do a featured track, and they will run that to get it in front of more listeners, to build it up in advance and get people to hopefully add it to their playlists, add it to their stations, add it to their favorites in the lead up to that holiday. Next slide. And track reporting is the newest feature that I was getting too excited about, but here it is. So track reporting, as you can see on the screen, it gives artists and labels real-time data for their entire catalog. So as you can see here, streams, listeners, percent changes, and such. What I love about this is everything that you can see in this view, you can export this as a CSV file as well. Artist audio messages, you can create short audio messages that play on Pandora for a listener before or after your song plays. So this could be your own voice, you could be introducing the song, or you could be speaking after the song and telling people that you have an upcoming show in their city. You could also be linking to a website as well. I've seen artists use this to talk about new merchandise that they've just released. So there'll be an image that will show within the app, and there'll be a call to action button, which will have a link. And you can also let people know in the audio message. Now, these can be recorded directly within the Pandora mobile app as well. So if you're not near a computer, you're out on the road and you've got the Pandora app, you can go to your artist profile, as long as it's the same email login credentials as AMP, and you can record that voice message and share that with your audience almost instantly. Pandora Stories is where I geek out, and I'm going to try not to get too crazy in here, but as a curator at heart, there's some really exciting things in here that I've got to share with you in the next few slides. So I just want to be clear, if you log into pandora.com and you have your own user account, you create playlists and stations, that's one thing. With Pandora Stories, which is available by request only, and anyone can request it, you can sign up as a creator, if you will. So it could be yourself, the artist, yourself, the human being, a brand perhaps, and you can curate playlists and stations as that person. So what you can do with this is you can further customize these stations and playlists. You can add your own commentary in there, such as voice tracks. So some people have gone as far as creating what feels like a radio program within Pandora. Well, what I love is the amount of data that you get as a curator once you get access to Pandora stories and you've started putting some playlists and stations out. You can see audience demographics as well as total listening hours by platform. You can also see listeners and hours listened by city. You also can see search and browse tags that you've applied to that station or playlist. These are so extremely important. I can quote this because Ben Harvey commented on my LinkedIn and told me this, so it's public. But 40% of voice requests, 40% of requests for chill stations on Pandora are people using their voice. So think about that. Almost half of the requests where people are saying, play chill music, or I'm looking for a chill station, I want to hear chill music, they're using their voice now. So by adding these search tags and browse tags, people can also say that and speak that. So not only is it if they type it in the search engine, but if they speak it, keep that in mind, because obviously when we speak a phrase or we say what we're looking for, it may be different to what we would type into a search engine as well. The other side of this is you can add up to 5 browse tags. Now, that means that if somebody is browsing for a particular genre within Pandora, your playlist or station may show up within that page as well. And I have seen a large number of creator-made playlists and stations showing high up in the search results within Pandora as well. So there's a lot of opportunity to get discovered there. Now, this is my personal favorite, and I'm so happy that this is available. As the curator, you can see completion rates and skip rates and spin rates for each song in your playlist or station. So you can get an idea of how many people are skipping a particular song when they get to that in the station, or how many people are listening to a song in its entirety without skipping. This can give you an idea of the activity of the listeners. It can give you an idea if there's a song that maybe you need to go take a look at and see if maybe it's not the best fit. But this has been extremely helpful for me. And I've found some interesting listening habits, which is for another conversation, but essentially around people skipping the first few songs before they actually start listening to a playlist, because they want to see if it's a playlist that they would like to continue listening to. So they do a quick preview of the first few songs and then let it play. So sometimes being first in a playlist is not actually the best thing in this case. And you can dive deeper into these spins and skip rates by date as well. So just to give you an idea, maybe something happened with a particular artist, and when people were hearing their song within your playlist on a specific date, they were skipping it. Maybe you put a song in there that was relevant around a certain holiday, and that holiday has ended and people don't necessarily want to hear that music right now. These are extremely helpful for fine-tuning your playlists. And it's worth noting once again that this is not done through the Pandora app as a listener. This is done through Pandora's artist marketing platform, and you will not see this as an option until you request access. And once again, all the links at the end, but the URL is ampplaybook.com/Pandora Stories sign up, and you'll be able to sign up and do that. One more thing that I wanted to mention here is that I found for certain playlists that the average listening session is over 4 hours. So for example, I've curated playlists in many different genres myself: lo-fi, cafe, dance, hip hop, and holiday music. And I've seen that the more laid back listening music, study vibes, things like that, people tend to listen for a long amount of time. So if you release music within those genres, this is going to be extremely valuable for you, because imagine how many songs from your catalog you can put in these playlists and stations, in addition to adding and helping other artists and giving them the opportunity to get heard by more people as well, because that's what's most important. Next up, we have Qobuz, and then I'm going to stop talking and hand it back to Andrea. Kind of hijack the Pandora section there. So Qobuz is on track for around 1 million subscribers. Don't quote me on that. They're highly curated and audiophile focused. And with this goofy accent, what I mean is audio PHILE, which are the people that love high fidelity, high res, high quality audio. They've probably got a really nice sound system in their lounge room. They love to show it off. What's unique about Qobuz is they have kind of an editorial feel. So they will get an album and they will write a review about it themselves. And then they will feature that album within Qobuz. So in a way, when you go into the homepage, it almost feels like a blog that you can also press and listen to, which is really fun. Now, at this time, there's no direct artist-facing tools, and the only way that you can update your artist bio and get your photo updated is by getting in touch with TiVo. And for anyone that's familiar, TiVo are the company that released the Magic TV recording box that was really big in the 90s and not so big now that streaming took over. But TiVo dived into the world of music metadata, and by contacting TiVo, they will distribute that information to multiple DSPs, not just Qobuz, and it will also be available on allmusic.com, who stores biographical information for artists. So to get that updated, the email address is content.music@tivo.com. And just be aware, it's not going to be a quick turnaround time. It could be a few weeks before you get a response, but that is the current process for Qobuz. And on to Andrea.
Okay, SoundCloud, next slide. You can monetize and promote your tracks on SoundCloud. It opens the door to submit to their editorial team for playlist placement. That's how they do it. They've got a blog called community.soundcloud.com that tells you all sorts of information about monetizing, engaging with the community, sharing your tracks. So you can go there. Next slide. With SoundCloud Premiere, when you sign up for that, you can get paid for your plays on and off SoundCloud, actually, because they also not only promote your tracks to new fans, but they are a distributor. They can get your music on every major music service. So they're both. There are some connections between SoundCloud and SiriusXM. For example, there's a SoundCloud radio show on SiriusXM. So after you join SoundCloud Premiere, you set your tracks up for monetization, you verify your work is original, and then you've got all sorts of opportunities like pitching for playlist placement using Promote on SoundCloud, one of their tools, and more. Okay, next to Spotify. Next slide. Many tools here. Spotify allows editorial submissions, as we all know, access to your fans through release radar placements. Artist pick could be a podcast, concert, song, album, artist biography, artist playlist, Songkick Tourbox, Shopify. They just added Shopify, Canvas for these 3 to 8 second short videos, which their data shows increases engagement with fans by something like, I think it's 20% or something like that, some really strong percentage. I wanted to mention Spotify Radio. It's an underrated tool for getting streams. It's a form of a playlist. For some artists, the majority of streams can be from Spotify Radio. So you can lead fans to it on socials if you'd like. Spotify also creates artist discographies, where they come up with the most popular tracks on the platform for artists. And also you might want to do your own discography playlist. Excellent.
And what I wanted to share is a couple of websites that provide tools. These are provided by Spotify, but they're not available within Spotify for Artists. They have their own separate website. So what we're looking at here on this poster on the side of the street there is a Spotify code. So these are similar to QR codes. They're scannable codes that can be used on digital or printed images. What's cool about this is somebody grabs the Spotify app in their phone. Next to the search bar, there's a little magnifying glass, and you will tap that and you will point your phone at the code, and it will immediately launch into Spotify the album, artist, playlist, podcast, or podcast episode. So it's a much cooler way than saying, hey, open Spotify, type this in, tap search, scroll down, find it, and then tap on it and play it. You save people a lot of clicks and made this a lot more fun, especially when they're out and about like this. They can take a picture of that. They can take a photo of that, or they can just simply point their phone at it and they're done. Now, what's interesting about this, I should mention spotifycodes.com is the website for that. To create these, they will ask for the Spotify URI, not the Spotify URL. which most people would be familiar with. And recently, Spotify hid this option in the app. So I just wanted to show this for everyone to show you how you can do it. So you'll see that the link is changing from copy Spotify link to copy Spotify URI. To make that change occur, on a Mac, I'm holding down the Command or the Option key and then clicking on that. On a PC, it's the Control or the Alt key. And that's going to be the way that you're going to be able to copy that Spotify URI and put that into Spotify promo codes. Next up, we have promo cards by Spotify. And the reason I said it like that is the URL is promocards.byspotify.com. These are custom graphics that you can share on social media. You can use these to highlight milestones, new releases, maybe a podcast appearance or a new podcast you've launched, and dozens of editorial playlists as well. These milestones, you may have seen these floating around on social media. Artists will use these to celebrate when they reach a certain number of followers, or they may use these to announce a new release as well. And there's an example of what it looks like. This is a track that I put out with my project, Date Night, that came out in August this year. We put this up on social media. And I just wanted to mention that Spotify and Shopify have decided to work together, which means that there is now another way that merch can be listed and displayed on artist profiles within Spotify. So to link the two, if you have a Shopify store, you need to go into Spotify for Artists and you'll see a merch button. And I believe it may say beta in the menu at this time for some people. But when you see that, click it, connect your Shopify store. Once verified, you'll be able to start selling things from Shopify directly on your artist profile within Spotify. Gosh, that's a tongue twister. Andrea.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 case studies that represent engagement on the Spotify platform, examples, case studies of what happens depending on how much artists are supporting what's going on the platform for their music. So next slide, this is case study number 1. This was minimal results, even though this artist got on editorial playlists, but they didn't actively support anything about the playlist, or they didn't talk it up on their socials. They didn't really do anything outside of the playlist placement. And after the playlist placement, they just stopped talking about their music as well. So it shows you the difference an editorial playlist can make for an artist in streams. However, not being active outside of that placement, ultimately the streams decrease back to original levels before the placement. So that's case study number 1. Case study number 2. In this artist gave plenty of social media support to their music cross platforms, including on Spotify, but they didn't release music for a long time. So they were able to grow their streams, listeners, followers, streams, but very gradually, without a lot of big uptick, except just very gradually. And this very acceptable, of course. But just wanted to show you this, and then case study 3, and the difference in case study 3. This is a sustained campaign starting a year ago at the Red Arrow. This is when the artist started to pay attention on the platform with plenty of social media support and continued release of tracks in waves about 6 weeks apart. The big jump occurred at the end of June after the release of 2 standalone tracks on the way to an album release in late September. And it appeared to be a confluence of driving fans to the platform to listen, shouting out on playlists, on socials, plenty of independent playlist coverage that helped further salt algorithmic activity. And Spotify Radio really picked up on this artist, and that was part of it. So it's sort of an example of, did this artist get editorial coverage? Yes, some editorial coverage, but not huge. And really what happened is Spotify Radio kicked in. It's got the artist has 10 times more streams on Spotify Radio than in other places. So it's an example of what can happen if you're just paying attention on the platforms and this targeted multi-layered approach that we mentioned in the beginning, the Swiss cheese concept, whatever it is. Okay, Mike, next slide. Just wanted to bring this up. This is a sort of fun new tool called Playlist Alert. Works with Spotify as an app which allows you to be notified as songs are added to official Spotify playlists. and you can see positioning on the playlist. I did this for Adele's Easy on Me track, and it was fun to see each playlist as it was added, because you can get notifications, and how many playlists it was added to. 134 as of the day after release on October 15th. This one single is now in over 200 official Spotify playlists and another 60 Spotify chart playlists, like top 50, top songs, hot hits in multiple countries. And we use this to check out other similar artists to artists we're working with, or your own artists, to understand further marketplace placement. It's playlist alerts in your favorite app store. YouTube Music. Next slide. So this is studio.youtube.com. And Mike, this is you.
It's okay. Go for it. You're on a roll. I'll jump back in a sec.
Okay. It is it's new YouTube analytics for artists. Of course, it's important to have your official artist channel, and that's that little musical note there that merges your topic channel, which is the automatic channel that comes in from the distributor. You can run community posts as an artist. You can create or add artist images, your biography, and it synchronizes across YouTube and YouTube Music. And Mike, what else do you want to say?
I just want to say that you made more sense of my notes than I did there, and that was fantastic. I think the only other thing that I wanted to touch on was official artist channels. A lot of people seem to think that it's really difficult to get because there's no sort of direct answer from Google/YouTube, same. But what I found with everyone that I've worked with is talk to your distributor first and foremost. Talk to the person that's pushing your music out to these platforms, whoever that is, and just say, how can I get an official artist channel on YouTube? That's going to be your best bet right now. I'm sure in the future there'll be other ways to verify it, but for now, that's going to be the quickest way. And the easiest way is to have someone else do it for you. So just ask.
And then just to note also, YouTube Music executives say they rely entirely on algorithms to program their over 10,000 playlists. So instead of staff members hand selecting songs for listeners, the company puts its editorial focus on better engineering of the algorithms with parameters that are constantly developing. Billboard magazine recently ran a feature where YouTube's executives revealed their algotorial formulas. They run on the signals music fans are sending the service when they're listening to music. These can range from obvious actions like liking or disliking a track to skipping it, to passive signals like adding a song to their library or playlist and listening time. So on YouTube, what this slide talks about is a couple of best practices: front-loading video descriptions, as YouTube only displays the first 3 lines of text up to 1,000 characters, and use of tags for keywords, context, even common spelling mistakes, and hashtags in the description for searchability. Use no more than 15 of these, otherwise they may all be ignored. Mike, what's next? I think we're almost done here.
What's next? We could go for hours. I mean, we have before, but we just want to say that while we couldn't touch on every platform within this hour, there are so many other platforms that have other tools out there as well that we would love to be able to speak about. So go out there and take a look, and feel free to follow us, and we'll be happy to share them with you as we discover them as well. But I think we've got a couple of slides left with just some shameless plugs about ourselves, and then we're going to take a quick look at the Q&A as well, because I do see some really good questions in there. So shameless plug time. The latest edition of my book, Work Hard, Playlist Hard, the 2nd edition came out in August this year. Look for the purple cover. It's in bookstores worldwide, paperback, hardcover, and ebook. Andrea.
And what we do at DPG Worldwide is we can help you grow your presence on the platform. So we offer all sorts of services to do that. You can sign up for our newsletter to keep in touch. But we do streaming profile reviews and optimizations, independent playlisting promotion, release and marketing management, and all sorts of label services. So you can get in touch if you are interested.
And we're just going to leave this slide up for a second. Obviously, our contact details, these will be included in the email that is going out after this. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, team. For me, you can find pretty much everything at workhardplaylisthard.com, which is the blog, the podcast, various articles, video walkthroughs. I spend too much time on there. Outside of that, on socials at Ask Mike Warner, and I spend most of my time on LinkedIn out of all the social networks. And what about Andrea as well? Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at dpgworldwide.com or on socials at dpgworldwide or dpgworldwide1. And we'd love to be a part of the team. I mean, that's what we talk about, is being a part of the team. It's rolling a rock uphill a lot of times, and we'd like to be a part of the team, not doing it ourselves, but we would love to do that. That's it. Thanks, Mike.
We made it less than an hour. When we first did this, it was like an hour and a half, and we were like, how are we going to get this done? We can't talk any faster. Awesome. Andrea, can you see the Q&A on the right?
I can. So let's see, there are a couple of questions here. Can you pre-claim artist profiles on Amazon Music for new artists? Do you know the answer to that question, Mike?
I have done it before, and the way it works is ask your distributor, and they will either be able to help you with the process. Some distributors have a way to fast track requesting access to Spotify, Amazon, Apple for Artists, etc. But at the very least, ask your distributor and say, I know that my first release is coming out in X number of weeks. Can I get the Amazon link early? Most of them will be able to give you that, and that should be hopefully enough that you can plug that into the app and request access. But my first go-to is always ask your distributor, because they're going to be the ones that could probably help you and help you quicker as well.
All right, great. I can't find Pumped Up Kicks by Jonas on Amazon Music. Why is that? Go ahead, Mike.
Look, that could be one of many things, and I'm not going to speak on behalf of Amazon, but there's a number of albums and songs from artists that aren't available on streaming for different reasons. It could be that they had an agreement with their label that ended, and they haven't gone and put it out for anyone else, so the label don't have the rights to it anymore. Certain record labels have rights in certain territories around the world. So me coming from Australia, there's some albums that are available on streaming platforms in Australia that I can't listen to here. So, I think it would be a good question to, if you can't find it on any streaming platform, maybe go to the artist and just say, hey, I listen to music on streaming. Is there any way that you could put this release out? They might say, you know what? Our deal ended with the record label. We could put it out ourselves, or yeah, we're going with a new label and they're working on our entire catalog and we'll get it out. Let the artist know that you're looking for it.
So can labels use Amazon Music for artists to pitch releases from their rosters? They can on Spotify. I know as a team at DPG and as our label, we do that. So I think that the answer to that is yes. Mike, you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah. So I have multiple artists in my Amazon Music for Artists account, and I'm not a label myself as such, but I still have those features just as a user that's requested multiple artists and prove that I do have the rights to manage that artist, or I am that artist. And what's cool is with the pitching feature, you will see all of that for each of the artists. There's no overall roster as such. You may be referring to in Spotify for Artists on a desktop. In the menu, there's an option that says your roster. You go to that and it will show you an overview of all of the artists that you have access to. And it will show you, if they have a release coming up, what that release date is. And next to that is a button that says pitch, so that you can make sure that you haven't missed any pitches for any artists on your roster. With Amazon Music for Artists, I don't see a view like that yet. So it's just a case of going to the individual artists and then tapping pitch at this time. But they just rolled it out yesterday. So let's give them a few days to catch up on their emails before we push them on that.
So it is 1 o'clock and we want to honor the hour, but Mike and I are going to stick around and continue to answer some questions for a few minutes. So you all are welcome to stick around. Otherwise, give us your contact, or we gave you our contact information. And also I know MusicBiz is sending out an email today that will have our contact information as well for you. So thanks everyone for attending, and we'll continue going here for as long as we have a few questions. Next up, do you feel SoundCloud is very hip hop dance focused and not really space to grow with genres like rock? Well, I'll start out with that.
I was going to put that one to you.
I think they are very electronic, hip hop, dance focused. Yes, but I believe that, again, the philosophy is targeted, multi-layered approach, and it's like be everywhere. You don't know where the fans are going to come from. You don't know, again, they're connected somehow to Sirius. How does that help you? And so I think you have to make decisions about, in what we do, we prioritize how we work through the DSPs. You can't do everything in a day or even a month or even a year. So we prioritize, and I would suggest prioritizing based on your time and what genre and theme you have. But I would definitely not ignore SoundCloud. I guess that's my answer. What about you, Mike? Anything else on that?
Yeah, someone that's not a big rock listener. I mean, I like rock, but I like the obvious rock, the hits, the more pop rock leaning stuff. So I wouldn't really feel comfortable saying, but I mean, I think it is a safe assumption that hip hop is very popular on SoundCloud, and a lot of people have found that that's where they actually got their first big break as well. I mean, Chance the Rapper was a great example of that. Create something awesome, put it up, make it available to everyone, and then just, it all took off from there. And Andrea, I know you mentioned earlier as well, when it was SoundCloud leading into SiriusXM as well. Now you get discovered on SoundCloud, that leads to SiriusXM. That is some serious royalties right there.
Exactly. Wasn't Billie Eilish, didn't she start on SoundCloud as well? I think she did. Okay, next, do you offer promotion service packages? DPG does. So you can get in touch with me if you're interested in that. And we do a label services a la carte kind of thing. Every campaign is different. Every artist is different. So you can get in touch with us. Mike?
I don't offer any promotion service packages. Man, I've been talking for an hour. No, so as I mentioned at the start, I work full-time with Chartmetric. So outside of that, I dedicate my time to just getting this information out and helping artists in the form of the book, blog posts, the podcast, etc. So yeah, I guess Andrea is someone that will help you become part of your team and put in that work with you. Whereas I'm the kind of person that will go, here's a bunch of stuff that you should do. Have at it, enjoy it. So yeah, I think that's why we kind of complement each other well. Because if somebody's like, can't you do most of this for me? I'm like, you should probably talk to Andrea.
You're so funny. Any intel, hi Nick, any intel on if playlists are coming to Bandcamp? I would love to include Bandcamp the next time we do this, Mike. I don't have any intel on this, do you?
No, but I know that Bandcamp are rolling out new features for artists, and they've really stepped it up during this time. It wouldn't surprise me because, I haven't logged in the last few weeks, but I know that you can buy and you can stream within Bandcamp. So, I mean, having a playlist would kind of be a no-brainer. So we'll take a look and we'll do this we'll do Bandcamp in the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. In East and Southeast Asia, what are the top DSPs outside of the domestic ones? Which global players might we focus on as well? Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or YouTube Music. So in East and Southeast Asia, it sounds like that's where they are. That's the kind of music they have. I'm not sure I understand the question completely. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't speak about other DSPs until I've been able to log in and take a look myself, because it doesn't make sense for me to say to someone, hey, go and sign up with Melon, which is big in Korea. And then they go, well, what can I do with Melon? And I'm like, I don't know. But I hear it's big. So I'm trying my hardest to learn about these, and more importantly, especially because most of the attendees are based in, the United States for today, for example. I want to make sure that we're talking about DSPs and tools that are available to people here, because there's no point saying, hey, there's this streaming platform, it's awesome, you'll never get to see it and there's these tools that are awesome that you don't have access to. So as I learn about these, as I find that they're available, I will start to talk about them. But yeah, I don't feel comfortable saying you should pay attention to these streaming platforms until I've been able to log in and explore them as a listener myself, first and foremost.
Great, thanks. Couple of things about playlists, and I see some things in the chat as well. So maybe I can talk about playlists for a minute, and Mike, you can chime in as well. Any tips on converting playlist placement to followers and fans? In my experience, playlisters are fans. And the more you approach them with your music as you release it, the more they become a fan. So a lot of times when we work with artists and their teams over a long period of time, maybe years, we'll find that we have a core of playlisters that are fans, that the minute we say, hey, this artist is releasing music, they're like, oh, I've got to listen, I've got to jump on it. So converting them, I think, also includes shouting out to them on their socials, on your socials, sorry. Show them some love, show them some love, show them you appreciate them. And I think that helps to, they can repost that, and it just helps them to see that you're serious as an artist, and they'll pay possibly more attention. Mike, anything from you on that?
No, you covered it.
Okay. The other playlisting questions are what kinds of playlists does DPG pitch to? The answer to that is anything we can find that is legitimate. We don't pay for play. We haven't had anything, knock on wood, taken down in all the 6 years we've been doing this, except one artist who did exactly what we told him not to do when he told us we weren't getting enough streams for him through our efforts, and he had to have hundreds of thousands of streams. And he paid for that, and then his music got taken down. So don't do that. But we really just find them everywhere. We find them on third-party platforms. We DM them. They have submission forms. We hound them. We just go after them anywhere we can find them. And how would an artist go about working with DPG for playlist and release promotion? Just to say, we like to start prior to the release. We like to come on board a month before release. Our campaign official start isn't until the week of release, but we do like to come on board fairly early to help share what we know about the period before release and how important that can be, showing the algorithms that you've got something going, right? That can be really helpful. So just to say that. And Mike has put the link to all of the contact details in the chat, workhardplaylistHard.com/P/musicbiz2021. So I think with that, Mike, I think we're done.
Yes, we got to go overtime, which is very rare and certainly appreciated. And for anyone that does have questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can find us on socials. As mentioned, I'm most active on LinkedIn. If you want to find me on a social network. Outside of that, there is, of course, email as well. What about yourself, Andrea?
Yeah, you can find the links on the email that's coming through today. Just feel free to email me, or you can get on DPG and send us a message through DPG Worldwide. Follow us on our socials, any place you can. So thanks so much for the opportunity to do this today, guys. I mean, we could have gone for hours and hours and hours, but because there's so much, and there's so much new. I think there were 3 things we talked about today that were brand new. So it's happening. So thanks.
Thank you both. I'm very happy to have you here. Lots of great information. I know I jotted down a few things, and I'm sure there was other people out there scribbling. So, we will send out, as both Andrea and Mike have communicated to you, we'll be sending an email with their contact information, as well as a link to the recording if you want to go back and watch certain parts of it again to understand this more. But they will be helpful resources to you as well. So look for that email this afternoon. Thank you both for being here. Hope we can continue this in 2022 face-to-face. So get in your call for presentations along with everybody else. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Aaron.
Nicole.
Thanks, Mike, partner. See you later.
Thanks, Andrea. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Okay.